Welcome to the AirCon Vault. Here you can find recordings of the live streams from Eric's audio conference. These are made free thanks to our sponsors. A sound effect, Audio Kinetic, Boom Library, Bright Skull, Dolby, Fmod, Game Audio Learning, Game SoundCon, Kilohertz, Motion Picture Sound Editors, Rev Rooms, Sound Cuts, Sound Warriors, and Airwiggles, the online home for audio creatives. We hope you enjoy the video.
Thank you for everyone for joining this talk, Saving Unsaveable Dialogue, Real World Cleanup for Broadcast and Film. What does that even mean? Saving Unsolvable Dialogue, how do we save it? Let's get into it. So, have you received audio like this before?
Never. Because this was a very real move. It's like asking someone moving from Beirut to France.
That is a real audio file. So what is the solution? And obviously, this is the solution. You have to turn it up to 100%, and remember, it has to be on the master track. And that's obviously a joke, but if it only was so simple. But anyway. Also, just a mild therapy session. I received this audio file this week. I thought I'd share it. It just made me quite sad. So anyway, just to continue. So who am I? I'm Gavin Sadler. I'm from Pretoria, South Africa. I am currently a broadcast engineer working in live broadcasting for radio, television, and OTT streaming. Live broadcasting, it's high stakes environment. Obviously, there's no place to hide. If the audio drops out or something happens, like everyone looks to you, so there's really no room for mistakes. Some recent work, major national broadcasts we've done, like the G20 that was hosted here in South Africa in November last year. It made the news for several reasons, which I won't mention. And then obviously I do a lot of post work as well for the OTT, the streaming platform, and some past experience in film, TV series, and then also games as well, mobile games, console, and PC. So what to expect from the talk? So I'm going to be sharing my method, so what I've learned, and how I've adapted what I've learned into my practical method. I'm going to be sharing real-world examples from broadcast, field recordings, film, the OTT streaming, that kind of stuff. It's going to be different angles, so it's not going to be one 40-minute session. I'm going to be trying to get into 4 different angles, 4 or 5 hopefully. Live demonstrations in Reaper and RX. There's just a caveat, there's going to be no videos in Reaper, but I did receive the sessions with the video files. I created new sessions, so there's going to be no plugins in it, so I'm going to be doing this on the fly. Please do ask questions. I should have time available for questions at the end. And there's going to be some bonus content, some memes. Come for the talk, stay for the memes, and possibly some gentle criticism of a certain movie. Super subtle. If you can tell the movie, please let me know. Some shout outs. Catherine Toll, she did a talk last year on AirCon25, the art and science of spectrograph editing. I found the talk was quite informative, especially if you're interested in spectral editing in Audition. So if you're interested in Audition, go check out that talk. She also goes a little bit more into depth in RX that I'm going to go into, so go and check that out. Bill Lacey also did a talk in AirCon25, how loud should my audio be? Basically just listening levels when you're mixing and protecting your ears and that kind of stuff. Super informative. So go and check that out. Dale Willis, Honest Crow Productions, he did the engineering on some of the sessions. So I also posted a link. Go and check him out. Joe Wanasek from URM. If anyone's done Nail the Mix before, you'll know who that is. So let's continue. Sorry, my first meme. And this is a true story, by the way. So, but anyway, let me continue. So, the unfortunate reality about dialogue. 99% of the people will not notice good dialogue, but everyone complains when it's bad or inaudible. I don't know, last time you went to the theater with one of your friends that's not in audio and they told you when you walked out, oh, the dialogue sounded so crisp, or it sounded so great, it was mixed so well. Definitely didn't happen for me, but when it's bad or you can't hear the dialogue, people will complain about it. So if no one talks about it, you probably did a good job with the dialogue. Then obviously, the thing about dialogue is it gets recorded in lots of suboptimal conditions, right? So we have environmental problems, bad rooms, we have echoes, and obviously on set we have wind, we have planes and traffic, we have background noise with the crew and bumps and all that kind of stuff, and we have technical problems. Mic placement is a big problem, and clipping and distortion. Phase issues is a big problem. And then obviously now modern reality, voice notes. I deal with voice notes a lot now. I get sent voice notes and people say, okay, this needs to go on air. This needs to be an advertisement. Like, like we need to turn this into an ad. So it's just interesting remote recordings on Zoom and Clean Feed. Like it needs to go be an ad. And obviously everyone has a podcast. So yeah. So some key ideas from my talk. Maybe the first one isn't unique, but dialogue is king. If the dialogue isn't clear, nothing else matters. I've done lots of sound design as well, Foley and that kind of stuff. And doing animation shows, spending 15 hours, 20 hours on footsteps and cloth passes, and then just listening to the episode, hearing it muted because the dialogue is the most important part. Similarly, when you're writing music, the dialogue is the most important part. Then ears for me, ears first, eyes confirm. I listen, I trust my ears. I'm young, I trust my ears. I don't care too much about what the spectrogram is telling me. I trust my ears. And then my eyes will confirm, and then I will fix it. Fix what distracts from the performance. We want to preserve the performance. We want to support the performance. We don't want to kill the performance. The actors spend a lot of time perfecting the performance. We don't want to sterilize it. Decisions matter more than the plugins. Although the caveat on that is some plugins do sound better than others. I'm not going to advocate for any plugins, but unfortunately some do sound better than others, and some work better in some situations than others. Presets, I don't advocate for presets. I wouldn't recommend using them. And context matters. One of my examples will be like a field recording that will be on broadcast news, or like, let's say, a documentary. You can't kill all the ambience, right? Context matters. It's going to be, you need sort of like some of the background noise. You can't kill all of it, so context matters. Check on real playback systems or a well-referenced system. So if you trust your monitoring environment, you are good and you know what you're hearing. Otherwise, check on the final listening platform. And quite an important one, like don't get caught up in semantics. When we're dealing with directors or programmers or that kind of stuff, like the people like me, for example, like who went to college and we wrote tests and that kind of stuff, we learned all these terms. We can throw out all these fancy terms, but it doesn't matter to the programmers. We should just aim to get the point across in the fewest amounts of words as possible. So don't get caught up in terms like it doesn't matter what a click or a pop is. It just like as long as the programmer or the director understands, then we are good to go. And yeah, if anyone can tell what the movie is, anyway. So workflow and keyboard shortcuts. Efficiency is obviously critical. For broadcasting especially, it's slow workflows don't work. Know your keyboard shortcuts. I do rolling edits, so because normally when I get sent a file, it's like this needs to go on air like in an hour, so I have to do it fast. I'm normally editing and doing my EQs and compressors like on the go, and so I have to save time. So I come from Pro Tools, but my Reaper is set up like Pro Tools, but Reaper you can customize, you can continuously set up new presets. So Pro Tools is a little bit limited to that. And then I have consistent setups as well. Reaper and RX and Premiere Pro and Resolve are all set up similarly, just to, so all my shortcuts are exactly the same to save time. And yeah, DAW doesn't matter, just know your shortcuts and you'll be good. And yeah, just reference to reset your ears, because when we are listening to the same stuff and not listening to the real world examples, we tend to become used to bad sounding stuff. So if you trust your monitoring system again, then you're good. Otherwise, I use metric AB because sometimes I'm in a car editing, like literally, and so I will use metric AB. I will load examples from Netflix or something in there, and I will reference in there. I'm quickly going to switch to Reaper and RX just to go through basic shortcuts that I'm talking about. So just that I'm talking about. So obviously just the basic zooms that you need to set up, then your trim to start, your fade to start, your split, your trim to end, your fade at the end, your selection, your bounce, like all the stuff is similar to Pro Tools. Your mixer, and your master fader, I have this thing for that as well. And then I have an action set up for sending to RX, and the same thing here as well, zoom in and zoom out. I have my instant processing here, shortcuts, increasing the waveform. And then, for example, removing clicks, I have shortcuts set up for clicks, attenuate, decrackle, and replace as well. So just quick shortcuts for that. And then the same shortcut will send it back to Reaper. So let's just go back to the presentation. Cool. Okay, I spoke a bit about this. Yeah, monitoring referencing, just understand your speakers in the room and know how the dialogue translates. Compare against trusted examples of good dialogue. So use reference audio. I use metric AB, like I said. I will load examples from Netflix. I'll have 16 examples from Netflix or other shows in metric AB, and I'll reference in there because sometimes I'm mixing on AirPods. So just whatever works for you. Or when I'm doing games, I'll have The Last of Us or Uncharted thrown in there and just referencing what good dialogue sounds like. And yeah, check real playback systems, headphones, TV speakers. There's some remote mobile monitoring tools like CleanFeed where you can generate a link. Then you can go and listen on your phone or your iPad or whatever, or stream what you hear. Um, important thing is phone speakers overload easily, so test your dialogue there if you know people are going to be listening on there. So I remember the one game I was working on, I came in the middle of the game, middle of production on the game, and it was a mobile game, and all the audio was basically blowing the phone speakers, and it was supposed to be going on on iPhone and Android and an iPad, and it was actually blowing up the speakers on iPhone and iPad as well. So we literally had to remaster all the audio from that game. That's dialogue and music and everything. So it's quite important. And yes, this is my final meme. I apologize. And but I will say I will be watching the Odyssey when it comes out on the first day. So there is that. No shade. No shade. Anyway, so LDFC, this is the one from Joel Wanasek. So listen, diagnose, fix, compare. I don't say this to myself. It's just an automatic process. It's just you just have to listen. You hear the problem, you identify what's wrong, you fix it, and you just compare to the original. And this sometimes on Reddit feels like it's controversial. I don't think so. Like I said, I trust my ears first because your ears identify what's wrong. Sometimes when you open RX, like you can go and cut stuff that isn't really, I don't know, you can't hear it. Like, so I don't just go and cut stuff. I don't use it for Photoshop. So I use my ears first, and I use my eyes to confirm it. The spectrograms explain why it sounds wrong. The eyes can help spot what looks wrong. So when you go into RX and you see super weird stuff, then go and listen to it by all means. And also when you see like stuff that like radio frequency interferences that's like above 12K or whatever, 12 kilohertz, like by all means, like if it gives you anxiety, it does for me sometimes, like go and take that stuff out. Okay, this one sort of just proves my point a little bit. Like if you saw this file, where would you say the issues are on this file? Now, obviously, year and year, right? So let me just play the audio here.
Sawubona, ngokuthunya ungqongqoshe wezemisebenzi yomphakathi nenqalasizinda.
So that's before.
Sawubona, ngokuthunya ungqongqoshe wezemisebenzi yomphakathi nenqalasizinda.
So that is actually one of our 11 official languages in South Africa. That's Zulu. And in this language, we use a lot of clicks in the language. So if I go and take out all those clicks, I'm actually destroying the language. So it's just an extreme example of the ears versus eyes thing. So I wouldn't, that's an example of why I wouldn't just go and look at a spectrogram and just cut out stuff. So anyway.
Sawubona.
Okay, what we can fix and what we can't fix well. So noise to a degree, mouth click explosives, level inconsistencies, radio frequency interferences, handling noise and bumps. We can fix this stuff. What we can't fix that well is severe distortion, like clipping and saturation, heavy reverb, missing performances, like during capture or conversion, like the analog to digital conversion, and then also major dropouts or corrupted audio. That's some of the stuff that's very, very difficult to fix. And I'm specifically dedicating a slide to these two because they are the bane of my existence. Analog distortion, it's a bit more forgiving. What that is basically you're overloading the preamps or the mics, transmitters. It's sort of soft clipping. It's a softer type of distortion. We can sort of it's getting a little bit easier to repair it, but it's still not great. And then digital clipping is the one that's very, very difficult. It's like, not to get too technical, but we're running out of bits to represent the waveform in the digital space. So the information isn't like captured really. And then this one as well, this is not something I say to myself. This is just a automatic process, questions you would ask yourself when fixing dialogue. And then, yeah, basic processing. So editing it comes first. So you do your cuts and cleaning up and clip gain and that kind of stuff. And we fix problems before we enhance. We're going to start with least destructive tools and always compare it to the original, because over-processing can be worse than the original problem a lot. So we must reference and we must always compare. And cool, that concludes basically the slides. So now I can jump into some of the case studies. Okay, cool. Let me take a sip of water quickly. So, for this first bunch of case studies, these are field recordings. These are going to go out on broadcast, and it will also go out on OTT streaming platforms and terrestrial TV and terrestrial radio. So
Home Affairs.
just as listen to the first one.
The officials in Home Affairs. This is something that should make South Africa really proud in the way that we are making our...
So obviously just identifying what's wrong on this clip. There's lots of rumble on this one. We sort of have to keep some of the ambience in there because it's outside and it's a news clip. So obviously fixing something like that, I can just use high pass it if I wanted to.
The officials in Home Affairs.
Just to clear up some of that a little bit.
Are really proud. Accessible. And the Premier also did applaud the Premier of...
By the way, if you don't know who's speaking there, that's actually our president.
To be distributed to various provinces of our country, here in Limpopo,
Now for this, what I would normally actually do, because broadcast times are quite quick, these files have to go out quite quickly. I normally would go to one of my quick plugins, which I'll show you now. But what you can also obviously do, I'll maybe take a short clip here and just send it to RX and just see if we can just, for those who don't know how to do this when you're working with RX, is you just, and obviously it's like an MP3 file. The reason you know this is because we don't have the top portion of the audio here. So obviously spectral do noise, and we are learning it, and then we can just decide
and the Premier also
how much we want to cut
uploaded this, so the track
from that.
Distributed to various provinces of our country, here in Limpopo.
But anyway, the thing about denoising, right, is when you get to extreme denoising, it's gonna sort of start to affect the mid-range. So let me give you an example with clarity. So when you do extreme denoising, you have to go and fix the mid-range.
Way that we are making our services accessible.
So it sort of
And
starts to
Premier
sound a
also-
little bit, it sort of starts to sound a little bit honky.
Way that we are making our services accessible. And the Premier also.
And also the S's sort of come out a little bit more, but that
Way
doesn't
that
sound
we
actually
are-
too bad. Like I'm giving clarity a bit too
Way
much
that
slack,
we are
too much flack for that.
making our services accessible. And the Premier also did applaud the Premier of the
Doesn't not the best. Like for this one, I would just use Voxium, to be honest. I would use Voxium, and then I would go on to the next example.
way that we are making our services accessible. And the Premier
Maybe I'll
also
just clean up some
did
of the
applaud, the
mid-range. Yeah.
Premier of Limpopo applauded this. So the trucks will be distributed to various provinces of our country.
And you can obviously
Here
pull back
in
on this.
Limpopo.
And then I won't set up a compressor on these now, but I'll set up a limiter and compressor so it's ready for broadcast. Cool. Next one. Let's see.
Quite a significant day.
Okay,
as well as a historic
super lots
day
of
in
noise
many,
on
many
this one. Again, you can send it to RX. I showed you how to do this, but I'm not going to do that. I will use something like extract dialogue on this one.
Firstly, it marks the start of a program by the National Executive of our
And then just fix the mid-range again, because it does sound a little bit honky again.
Firstly, it marks the start of a program by the National Executive of our country to visit all the provinces of our country in the coming months and to engage directly with the provincial government leadership.
Very, very honky.
Secondly, it is the first high-level bilateral engagement.
It's
of
sort
this
of
nature.
like destroying the voice a little bit. What can I say? I like this one.
Firstly, it marks the start of a program by the National Executive of our country to visit all the provinces of our country in the coming months and to engage directly with the provincial government leadership. Secondly, it is the first high-level by
That sounds actually a lot better to me, to be honest. Okay, let me go to the next. Obviously, I'm spending like 2 minutes on each of these because there's like 5 sessions I want to get through in this this talk. So I would probably be spending a little bit longer.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is.
Okay, so this one, let me just play this first part up until here.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to welcome you.
So whenever I hear something that sounds like this, now there's this plugin. I'm not advocating for anyone to go and buy plugins, but when I hear something like that, that sounds like it wasn't recorded properly, I will use DX Revive. That's the perfect case for something like that. Just to DX Revive, it sort of synthesizes the audio, so it adds like frequencies that's like missing.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is.
But also on this file, I think there's a hum or something here, so I'll also just show how I would remove that one. You can actually see the two the radio frequency interferences over there. So you can also notch that out, but spectral denoise is probably the best tool for that. It's a little bit wide, the one I chose now, but I would make it a bit more tighter. But anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to welcome you. Ladies and gentlemen.
Way too.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to welcome you.
Okay. And then I'll just send it back for the first part. Obviously, I would be doing the whole file.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to.
And then for that, like I said, I would use DX Revive just to add some of those, like the missing frequency content there, because it sounds like, I don't know what it sounds like. It's like some weird, like a laptop or something. I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to welcome you.
So you can sort of, okay, and there, obviously, I didn't, the hum starts again, or the hisses start, the interference starts again over there.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure to welcome you.
And then, so DX Revive sort of resynthesizes the audio, so it adds some of those missing frequencies. But you probably would have to reshape it just a little bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure
Maybe
to
just a
welcome
little
you.
bit, just to
Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed my pleasure.
just to make sure it doesn't sound artificial. But anyway, that's what I would do with that one. Let's just go on to the next.
The work that you are seeing being presented to you here
Okay, this one as well, super loud buzz. In RX. Okay, this is a very complex buzz of multiple harmonics. As you can see, it's almost like it's oscillating. Yeah, quite weird. To be honest, for this, I would just, again, I would revert to Voxium or AirCon digital dialogue extract. You can also, I can probably try, let me try. Hey, that's one of my shortcuts.
that you are seeing being presented to you here today is the proof that we are making very substantial progress on this front. And anyone that you are seeing being presented to you here today is the proof that we are making very substantial progress on this front. And
This plugin is also quite nice because it's got an
that you
equalizer
are
built
seeing
in.
being presented to you here today is the proof that
Let me also just do this as well in RX.
is the proof that we are making very substantial progress on this front. And
Yeah, it sort of sounds a bit honky when you start doing it there. I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Officially not a fan.
to you here today is the proof that we are making very substantial progress on this front. And
Okay, cool. And then the next one. This is, okay, WhatsApp audio file. Very, very fun.
Government welcomes the recent ranking by Bank of America placing South Africa at the top of its regional equity market assessment. This record
Again, something like this, DX Revive, that's probably at the moment, if anyone knows anything else, please do let me know on Hangouts or YouTube, let me know. And here is where I go to my third slide, where I would push it to 100. But no, like here you have to sort of go for it. Because this one I got sent and they told me, like, this is an advert, guys. So, okay, anyway.
government welcomes the recent ranking by Bank of America placing South Africa at the top of its regional equity market assessment.
And then this needs a lot of love. This is going to take this one. I didn't spend 2 minutes on.
Government
but-
welcomes the recent ranking by Bank of America placing South Africa.
It
at the-
needs a lot of love with EQ.
Government welcomes the recent ranking by Bank of America placing South Africa.
Because you have to do stuff like that, and then you're going to have to start de-essing it and that kind of stuff, which I'm not going to go into, but that's an example of a V note. And then, yeah, this last one, let me skip that for now. And let me actually go into the next session. I will actually just go back to this one file just to give you guys an example. There is also this one, clear, which is quite cool, but I just find the gate to be a little bit too quick.
Colleagues, today is quite a significant day.
I'm not sure,
as well
it's
as a
maybe you
historic
guys
day
can't hear
in
it.
Many, many respects. Firstly, it marks the start of a program.
It's like the gate is a little bit too quick on that one. Maybe if you guys listen on headphones, you can hear it, but I wish that there's like a feature where you can adjust the gate release or something. But anyway, let's go on to the second project. Anyway, so second project, completely new. Let me take a sip of water. So this is a short film. Let me just tell you what I received. So I received one boom microphone and 2 lavs when I got asked to do this project. Now, this comes back to decisions, right? You're going to have to decide when you listen back to it, what are you going to use? Because the issue on this one, let me just play an example. It started out exterior, it moves interior, and let me just play that to you with all 3 mics.
Thanks, guys, for leaving the light on. Really appreciate it. Welcome home. Great. What are you doing up so late?
Waiting for the ice cream you promised?
Ice cream. Oh, no.
Mom!
Mom, nothing. It's way past your bedtime.
10 more minutes?
So yeah, the boom is super roomy.
Mom, nothing. It's way past your bedtime.
I hope you guys can hear that. Okay, let me just increase the volume maybe a little bit.
Mom, nothing.
Super boomy. So we have to make a decision. Are we going to use all 3? But the issue is also when we look at the lav on this one,
Thanks, guys, for leaving the light on.
the lav on this character is very, very muffled. So we just have to make a decision on that one.
Thanks, guys, for leaving the light on. Thanks, guys, for leaving the light on.
Needs a lot of love. So you can obviously go with a combination of the 3.
Mom,
Blend to like maybe like de-room, de-reverb the boom a little bit, but the boom is also, it's not very focused.
Ice cream you promised? It's great.
oh, no.
Not very focused. So you sort of have to use the lab on that one. So on this project, I spent quite a bit of time getting the mix between the microphones correct. It was quite a struggle, and the lab on this character, this actor,
Mom!
actually sounds decent.
10 more minutes?
Actually sounds quite decent.
But if I'm not here in the morning, it's your. Waiting for the ice.
So it's a bit tricky to do.
Waiting for.
So
Mom, nothing. It's way past your bedtime.
this one, so yeah, on this project, I think I went with the 2 lavs and blended the boom in very, very quietly and denoised I reduced some of the reverb. I also did sound design and Foley and added some, and I did a lot of work on the room tone. Lots of work on the room tone because I put some markers here, like there's some drop-offs here. in the room tone.
Mom,
Yeah, we also don't have labs anymore. We just have the boom.
I'm not making this up, Mom. I swear.
If something was in here, I think we'd know about it.
We also there have a hum again. It's a little bit difficult to see, but you sort of have it over here. So you would fix that kind of stuff. Anyway. So yeah, this project is basically about decisions. Let me just go on to the next one quickly. This one is animated TV series. This was recorded during the pandemic, all over Zoom. So quite interesting. The actors got sent their kits. Everything was done over Zoom. So it sounds quite good actually. But there were some issues with Zoom.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Could we please have a mere $200 each?
Like, let me just do some click type work.
Could we please have a mere $200?
Like this is the kind of stuff where I would work on the clicks. Listen back to it. Sometimes if it's unruly, I would literally just go and delete it. I don't care. Just to save time. And obviously
Could we please have a mere $200 each in order to purchase an item that will unify us as brother and sister and keep us quiet for most of the day? Item that will unify us as brother and sister and keep us quiet for most of the day. We will repay you.
there's obviously lots of clicks there. Here's just some plosives here. Here, obviously attenuate is like probably the best. I would just sometimes just delete it as well. Just reduces it.
Mere $200 each in order to purchase an item that will.
There's actually, I think there's a.
An item that.
Oh, this is what I especially want to show here.
Purchase an item that.
Is we have a glitch here in the Zoom recording. So on this one, it needs a little bit of work. Where are we? Okay. So something like replace, I don't know, like
that
sounds good.
An item that.
Yeah, sounds good. So that's something I would do over there.
That will unify us as brother and sister and keep us quiet for most of the day. We will repay you with hugs more than usual and salome.
And obviously, I would go through these a little bit more in detail, do my edits super tight, and I'm obviously missing a lot of clicks here, but I'm just trying to get through this a little bit quicker than I
will babysit.
Yeah, than I'm doing at the moment. I mean, that I would normally do. Let me just go to next project. This is a VO that is would be broadcast on television and radio. This one.
I know a place where
So this one, when I was sent, it's already clipping. So I just brought it down so it's no longer clipping.
I know a place.
This one is super, super clicky. So when I get sent something like this, I'm not scared to just send it to RX. And fun, again, it's an MP3 file. But I will do a mouth declick on it. And just be careful with it. Don't mess up the... compare it to the original, but I will run a mouth declick just to get rid of some of the more extreme mouth declicks.
I know a place.
It's actually it was a bit too extreme, to be honest.
I know a place.
But this one also, it sounds to me a little bit, weird, the recording. So I will again go.
I know a place where possibility.
And this stuff, when we're doing VOs, these edits and stuff, I will take out breaths and stuff, make it super tight so it flows quite quickly, get the clicks out, that kind of stuff. And obviously listening back to it, making sure it sounds natural.
T does where possibility does not whisper.
There, that's obviously, you don't want to see that kind of stuff, right? Creating extra work.
Not whisper. Where possibility does not whisper. Not whisper. 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 It rises. Unshakable belief in tomorrow. In harmony, they say.
Let me actually just run this on the main track instead of, I will do this, like I said, when I'm doing these stuff that needs to go out fast, I will.
Unshakable belief in tomorrow. In harmony, they say, Amandla, Ngawetu, because power belongs to those who build. This is South Africa, Africa's most diversified economy, the gateway to the African continental fruit.
Obviously, lots of clicks to go there, but yeah. Anyway, I've Greg, we've sort of got 10 minutes left here. I'm not sure if we want to go to questions now. I can obviously go on if anyone wants me to go into a specific session, but I'm open to doing questions now.
Yeah, we've got a bunch of questions. I think also, Gavin, your camera turned off.
Really?
Yes, but no problem. The screen was bigger, so we could see all the plugins perfectly.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, if you want to turn your camera back on and then unshare, and then we can go through some questions.
Oh, okay, yeah, I see.
So,
sorry about that.
First question is, when sending files from Reaper to RX, are you destructively editing the files, or are you creating a copy of the item as a new take?
No, so actually I'm doing it like Pro Tools. So I think Reaper, the standard way that you do it is you send to external editor, but I created the custom action in Reaper, so it sort of acts like Pro Tools. So Pro Tools, when you send it, it creates a new clip, right? And that's what I want Reaper to do. I want it to create a new clip. So that's sort of what my so when you see it, especially when I'm sending a very large file, you'll see it will actually duplicate it. Yeah, well, that was a bit fast, but let me do it on a longer file. I'm not sure. Can the guys still just see my screen here?
Yeah, all good. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. They'll be able to see, like, it will duplicate. Okay, no, but anyway, it duplicates basically the file. So I'm creating a completely new file. It's sending it through, so it's non-destructive.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Someone also asked about the Zoom recording that was in this example. Was this directly a recording from Zoom, or was this a recording that the voice actors created in their own home that then was sent over?
Oh, okay. So this is actually a super interesting story. So, we did we did 3 seasons of this animation show, and midway into season 2, lockdown started to happen. So we couldn't do the voice recordings anymore. So we shipped, or the engineer shipped the kits to all of the actors. We set up Zoom sessions, and then we set up, so all the actors were in the Zoom sessions, and then their audio was routed through clean feed, and then from clean feed it was routed into the engineer's preamps in his studio, like his UAD preamps, and then from those preamps into Pro Tools. And that's why, if I didn't play it for too long, but if you heard it, like, it sounded super good. So it was actually very well done, and you wouldn't say it was from Zoom.
Got it. Nice. That's a cool method of doing it as well. Another question was, how do you hone in your settings? For example, how do you decide on the ratios of reduction and threshold, or details like musical gating in RX?
It's just like, it's listening, right? It's experimentation. I do this multiple times. Well, I do this every day for 8 hours a day. So it's just like, now I've gotten to sort of know what sounds good or what works for what. So the more time you spend with it, you sort of know what's going to work. Also read your manuals. I did read through all 300 pages of the manual as well, the RX manual. So, but I mean, it goes back to my slide, like my presentation, like, trust your ears at the end of the day. Like, you can turn, like, adjust the faders and the knobs, and if it sounds good, then it is good, right?
I have never met someone who's read the RX manual. I think you're the first person.
I did. Like, it's 300 pages. I did read it.
Highly impressive. Then we've got another question. How often do you dive into the advanced settings of iZotope RX and other similar plugins, or do you typically not have the time for this? What are the best settings to keep in mind?
You know, okay, my talk is about RX. So, advanced settings in RX, you know, RX is very, very good for me personally for the plosives, right? The clicks, the radio frequency interferences, the stuff I did, like, especially in my first session and this last couple of sessions, that kind of stuff. But the plugins that are coming out now, like you saw Voxium, it's like crazy, it's amazing, like AirCon Digital. So I'm sort of leaning on those ones also at the moment. So I do delve into the advanced features, but I just find, like, there's some features in the other ones that are a little bit better. But for clicks and that kind of stuff, and like RX, nothing beats RX. And in my first session, I did try and do, because I was like, I did try and show multiple plugins and multiple ideas. And I tried spectral denoise, and it just sounded so honky compared to the other plugins. It sounded good, but when you're doing extreme denoising, like, yeah, I mean, that's just my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's nice. So basically, in a nutshell, it's just seeing what kind of plugin works best and
exactly.
utilizing the features to their strength.
Exactly. Because I mean, Clarity, when it came out, like, was amazing, and sometimes Clarity will work for a specific thing, and something like, everything doesn't always work. Like, when DX Revive came out, like, I thought, like, oh, I'll never need another plugin again, and then I was like, okay, but DX Revive doesn't work for high frequency noise, so then you need something else. Like, and RX also has Dialogue Isolate, which you can have as a plugin in Reaper, a standalone plugin, and which I use for high frequency noise. So, which isn't bad. Like I said, the big thing about denoising is extreme denoising, especially, is you're just gonna have to fix the mid range. You're gonna have to focus on because it does create issues in the mid range.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, we've got 2 more questions. Thoughts on batch processing? Let's say you have 2 hours of dialogue from an actor, but they have a consistent click. Would you make a preset, then render all, or manually go through each one?
It depends on time. It would if I had the time, I would go manually through everything. It's just safer. It's just safer. If I was working on the film, and especially games, the worst thing about a game is if someone plays a game and they're able to repeat a mistake. Like, imagine that, like someone is playing a game and they're able to repeat an audio mistake. That's the worst thing. So if I had the time, I would manually go through everything. If I didn't have the time, I would do something like batch processing.
Yeah, as a sound designer for games, I can confirm that. All right, last question is, do you ever refer to notes on tracks from production mixers when dialogue editing?
Oh, well, definitely. I mean, I'm sure. That's sort of like, I will definitely refer to them, but at the end of the day, it's going to be what the director wants, right? Like, the client has to be happy. So that's going to be my goal. So I just want the client to be happy, whether that's going to be the director or whichever client is in charge of the project. That's who I need to deliver it for. So that's what I'm aiming for.
Fantastic. All right, well, thank you so much, Gavin. This was a really awesome and insightful talk and live workshop as well. It was really interesting to hear the transformation of all the dialogue and how much can be done with it and how much can be actually saved. So I guess take notes, Mr. Nolan.
Oh, you got that. It was so subtle.
But yeah, thank you all for joining in. If you have any more questions for Gavin, please go into the Hangout space. I've just put the link in the chat and tag him. And we have another talk coming up on Wise. So yeah, it will be on YouTube again. And thank you so much for joining this one. Thank you so much, Gavin, and we will all see you in the next talk.
Cheers, thanks.